Students, we started reading an essay to youth by Bhagat Singh. Really, this essay is helpful for young people to know about themselves, to know their own strengths, and to start or begin with this acknowledgement that you are having every type of energy and you can do whatever you want to do in your life. You can become unstoppable Indians. So, see, he himself was young person of 18 years age when Bhagat Singh wrote this essay, and he himself realized all his capacities. So we cannot have any doubt about that explanation or expression of this author or Bhagat Singh. And whatever he has told about young person is true and it is proven truth. So here we can start with this line because in previous lecture we have stopped here. If the sacrifice of blood is needed, who but a youth can give it? If you want a sacrifice, then you will have to look to a youth for it. It is a youth who is shaper of destiny of any community. Sacrifice, to devote, to give something, to pay something, and this is how that sacrifice of blood, that is really a great thing, and that is done by young people. In history you can check. So here also, for the sake of getting freedom from Britishers, India needed sacrifice of blood, and youths can do this, says the author. So if you want a sacrifice, then you will have to look to a youth for it. So again and again he repeatedly saying the same to show to stress that importance of sacrifice by young people. It is a youth who is the shaper of destiny of any community. So who gives shape to luck or destiny of any society, any community? Young person. So a young person can shape any society and change the luck of that society. A Western scholar has rightly said, it is an established truism that young men of today are the countrymen of tomorrow, holding in their hands the higher destinies of the land. They are the seeds that springs and bear fruit. So with this quotation, with this dialogue, or with this expression or thought you may say, we can know about energy and strength of young person. One Western scholar, according to author, he has quoted here that Western scholar. What is that? That it is true according to this Western scholar that young men, young persons, that they are the countrymen of tomorrow. They have the capacity to rule country tomorrow. And now, though these people are is just shaping their personalities, definitely they can shape the nation, holding in their hands the high destinies of the land. So these people, young people, they have their nation in their hands, and they can change the destiny of the nation, or they can change the future of the nation, according to this Western scholar. They are the seeds that spring and bear fruit. And he compares young people with seeds. And he says that these young people, they are like seeds, and one day these seeds will become trees, and out of these trees we can get fruits also. So this is how these young people are so useful and productive for the nation. It means that the youth of today is the maker of a country's destiny. The young are the seeds of the success of future. So what decides destiny of nation, young people decide destiny of nation. So this is the gist or summary of the paragraph we have read. Come to this one. Open the pages of the history of the world. It is full of these immortal messages written in the blood of young. So if you study history of any nation, history of world, we find that young people have contributed a lot in that history also. Sift through the descriptions of revolutionary transformations in the world. Sift through means if you find out thoroughly what that history, revolutionary transformations, descriptions means elaborations, explanation of revolutionary क्रांतिकारी चळवळी, transformations, changes in the world. We find that these young people, they have contributed a lot for that, whom the wise have called mad and misguided. So for every time these young men are called as mad people or misguided people by some leaders, and these are according to these people, wise people, that these are misguided, and these youths are misused by leaders to get their aim fulfilled. So this is how history also tells about young people and their capacities. But what cynics can understand? Cynics means critical people or critics, or those people who are selfish and always tries to find that faults in others or some wrong things in others. So this is how cynics means critics. So they cannot understand actually what reality is, and just means saying these youngsters something is not right thing. So this is how here we can see that young persons are so many times misunderstood by wise men. What men of steel those Japanese youths were, who fired by patriotism. See, here one example is given of historical incident. In Japan's history, we find that very different type of that sacrifice done by youngsters, young people. In Japan, still those Japanese youths were who fired by patriotism. So one story or one historical incident is given here by this author. What is that incident? These Japanese young people, they literally built one bridge over one moat, or one, you say, that canal. So here these people, they tried to get entry in one fort, and they build that bridges over that moats. So many moats were there, so going towards the fort, and they found that bridges with the help of their own bodies. After killing themselves, these corpses, the dead bodies were used as a bridge, or one bridge was found with the help of these dead bodies. So see, it is possible by only young people they can do such type of darings also. These young people of Japan, they died to form one bridge to cross that moats, ज्याला खंदक म्हणतो मराठीमध्ये. आणि किल्ल्याच्या आजूबाजूला असे खूप सारे म्हणजे खंदक होते, किंवा पूर्ण किल्ला असा पाण्याने वेढलेला होता, आणि त्याच्यामधून किल्ल्यापर्यंत जाण्यासाठी त्यांनी छोटे छोटे ब्रिजेस तयार केले. आणि ब्रिज कशाने तयार केले? दगडामातीचे नाही केले, तर ते त्यांनी स्वतःचा जीव दिला. त्यांच्या ज्या डेड बॉडीज होत्या, त्या डेड बॉडीजचा पूल तयार केला त्यांनी. म्हणजे विचार करा किती मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये हे तरुण तिथे मृत पावले असतील, किंवा त्यांनी स्वतःचा जीव दिला असेल. So this is one historical event in Japan, and it is presented before us by the author to narrate the devotion and sacrifice of these young people and their patriotism. Patriotism, love towards nation. A true youth embraces death without hesitation, digs in his feet, with this chest thrust out in front of rifles, smiles even as he sits on the mouth of cannon. See, means what is that sign of true youth? If you want to know that this youth is true youth, we can see that this youth can easily accept the death. Embraces means accept the death without any hesitation, without saying no, digs in his feet with his chest thrust out in front of rifle, so he can easily go forward to face rifle also, and he smiles when he is there before the mouth of cannon. Cannon means तोफेच्या तोंडी जरी असेल तरी, so he will sit with some smile. So this is the sign of young person. Burst into the national song to the jungle of iron cups. Even suppose he is somewhere in some jungle of or voices of iron cups, means suppose he is in war also, in that also he can sing a song, national song especially. So this is capacity of youth, and swings on the gallows with a mocking laugh. So this young person can means even if suppose he is hanged by somebody, that time also he has that mocking laugh. So such is the greatness of young person. It is the youth who gains weight on the day he is to be hanged. So see, only that youth can do this. On that day to be hanged, he can show that he is happy, he is satisfied still. So these are the signs according to young person. If you don't have these signs, you are not young at all. You can say like this also. It is the youth who hums an inspiring mantra. Hums means sings. A person who sings inspiring mantra is a young person. He grinds the milestone in the jail, and that young person only can do hard work in jail. So millstone, जात्यावर दळणं, हे सुद्धा कुणाला होऊ शकतं. ग्राइंड्स मीन्स ग्राइंडिंग, दळणे ऑन मिलस्टोन. So it can be possible for young only. He lifts his country out of darkness only by sinking in the darkness of the jail cell. So a person is he who is there in jail and who is there in darkness sinking, is it that he is there in darkness and he wants some that brightness for his country, he wants to lift his country. So he is really a young person according to the author. Patrick Henry, the leader of the American youth, once said in one of his passionate speeches. See here another example, another quotation is given by American that leader, American leader of the American youth. So what he said, life is a dearer within the prison cell, where it is the price paid for the freedom's fight. So the life is the most beautiful life when somebody is in prison. And what is the reason of that being in prison? That is the price paid for freedom's fight. So he is fighting against suppose some enemy and wants nation's freedom. That time suppose the person is in jail, that is that the most precious life of that person's is. He meant that though life outside the jail was precious, life within the four walls of jail was priceless. So see, precious and priceless. See, precious having some is that value, more value, that is precious. But see, if you are in jail, that life, that jail was priceless because there it is paid as the price of the freedom struggle. Means actually the price of the life is paid for getting the freedom. So the life in the jail is priceless. It is actually they're devoted to that nation's freedom. That price is given for the nation's freedom. So this is how we can stop here, and we can know that that life of young person is for the sake of getting freedom, and that is the best path he can make choice of in his life. So let us stop here, we can continue in the next